ready to go, just drop me a yes in the chat. Otherwise, I'm putting a link in, which is where you should go, although you probably know how to get in through Glow, and that's probably the best way for you to do it. But just, yeah, do please just give me a yes when you're all logged in. Thank you, Mrs. McCarthy. Thank you, Mr. Brown. You're both logged in. And then once we are, we will get going. Thanks, Mrs. McLaughlin. Thanks, Miss McGregor. Nice one, Mr. Smith. Nice one, Miss Hughes. Nice one, Sean. Mrs. Johnson, top marks. Mrs. Niven, good stuff. Miss Hurd, good stuff. Right, I think anyone who's left, they're probably just going through the motions now. So please do get logged into Express so we can get going. So what I would suggest here is I would suggest that you do have Express up and you do try and kind of work alongside. Don't worry if if it's difficult because you've got one screen and you're seeing me on one screen and you're trying to do Express on another. Like, I totally get that. So more than happy for people to just follow along and just watch if you want. That's fine. We do have absolutely loads of support. Loads of support. Well done, Mr. Birrell, Miss Birrell, I'm not sure. Mrs. Skinner, good stuff. We do have loads of support. We have live lessons. We have teacher training, which we do regularly, which is probably slightly more in depth than what we'll do today. And then we also have loads of lesson packs and stuff like that. So I would really hope at the end of this session that you go away with some practical experience of actually using Adobe Express, or at least watching me do it. And also loads of ways in which we can support you along the journey. So there's myself and Meredith, who's my Welsh colleague, and we both taught primary and secondary, and we do stuff just flat out all through the year. We've got about 24 live lessons just this term, so yeah, it's busy. Right, let me share my screen, include sound. Okay, cool. And then let me also go over here. Okay, right. When you first open up Adobe Express, it's going to look like this. This is an education account. I've got an education account for demos like this. Now you will see that there's different things going on here. It does start with this text to image artificial intelligence generator, which is really cool. I'm not sure why they start with that, but I suppose it's just because it's like a really sort of flagship thing that they're doing. But other than that, you have make a video, animate your voice, build a web page, create a graphic. Now, this looks very similar on the iPad and the browser. So I'm demoing on the browser. If you've got an iPad in class, you're basically doing nearly everything exactly the same. I think there's only one or two things that would be slightly different, but to be honest, it's so small that it's not really a big deal. Okay, so what else have you got on the home screen? Well, you've got your stuff down the left-hand side here. I've got sort of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of different projects. If I was slightly more organized, I'd be better at using my folders. You can create a folder very easily by clicking up here, create a folder, which means you could separate things into subjects, into classes, into stuff for parents, whatever it is. There's lots of ways in which you can do that. And putting something in a folder is really easy. All you have to do is tick here, and then down the bottom here, you've got 3 buttons here, and you would move it to somewhere, and it will bring up, all of your folders in here where you can stick stuff in. So there's quite a lot of good sort of management of things, which you'll get used to along the way. The rest of it, don't worry about it for now. It's like, just keep it simple. So I'm going to go back to the home screen here. Now, some people really like to, start from the graphics here. They will change over time. So I kind of tend not to show people that way. So what I will do is I'll show you that you can access everything through the plus. Top left here, everything through the plus. Okay. So Let's start off by doing, well, you know what? It's Roald Dahl Day, isn't it, on Thursday? So what I'm going to do is there's all sorts of suggested sizes you can see down here. You can also reach quick actions in here. I'll talk about that more later. But in terms of creating something, a flyer is roughly like A4 size. So let's get in there. So it's on the page. This is now your dashboard. It pops up with media because it thinks that you want to start with a photo or something like that, or even generate an image, anything like that. But we're just going to get rid of that because I want to show you the blank canvas and how it works. You've got things like, zooming in and out. You could do, 400% if you wanted to really focus on a particular sort of detail, but you've also got zoom to fit page that will always bring you back here. You've got things like background color. Don't need to worry too much about that right now. But you also have your file name. Now, my recommendation is always go in here and put a file name in. Because once you start getting loads and loads and loads of stuff, it starts, you really want to start being able to search for things. So I'm going to put Roald Dahl Day Renfrewshire. Right. Okay. So once you hit return, it'll rename it. Great. If you've actually put in a name that you've got already, it will say, oh, this is already assigned, like you can't use this, which is fine. Which is actually a good way to make sure that you're not having conflicting things in your account. Right, Roald Dahl Day. What are we going to do? We're going to do a book cover for the BFG. So this editor that you've got here, you can make a book cover with it. You can make an infographic with it. You can basically make anything you like. You can make a timeline. You can make a job advert. I'm trying to think of the things that I've done recently. Just all sorts of madness you can do in here. Now, the first thing I'm going to do is go over to media. Now, I actually do want to put a photo in as my kind of book cover background. I'm just trying to impress on you that, we're going to do a book cover now, but I'm only doing it so that you can learn the tool. Okay, you can literally do anything you like. So in terms of searching for photos, I could search for something like the BFG, but I'm not going to find any results for that because it's a copyrighted image. This is a stock library. All of the images in this library have been filtered for educational use. I think in the 5 years that I've been here, I've had to report a slightly racy Santa, like Mrs. Santa once, and that was about 4 years ago. Ever since then, I've tried really hard and not found anything. But in terms of stock image, it's good because you have to get creative with what you're going to search for. So I might put old happy man, something like that. And let's see what we've got. Right, there's loads of things in here. I'm looking for something that's a bit sort of quirky and off the wall because that's kind of how I'm sort of thinking my BFG is. And I'm going to search and search and search. What am I going to... Oh, this guy. Right, this is the one I want. Great. Now it goes straight in there. And when you click on it again, your editing window on the left-hand side comes up. These are all the things you can do with it. Now, the first thing I'm going to do with it is start stretching it out. And I'm doing that by taking the corners and stretching out. That will scale your image. If you use things like the longer handles, which are down the sides and the top side and bottom side as well, it actually crops your image. Okay, so we're going to keep it. I mean, we can crop it actually because I'm not interested in a lot of this stuff. So that'll make it kind of easier to start scaling it even more. I'm going to scale and scale and scale. Now, like I said before, you can go here and I might say, let's go 10% because I want to be able to scale this right up. Okay, this is my BFG. Looks like an absolute dude. Right, so I'm going to bring this down roughly around about here. That'll do. Okay. Now that I've got that in there, I'm going to go back up here and go zoom to fit page. Right, I'm happy with this. Right, this is the BFG. So let's go and put some text in. Obviously, when you're doing a book, you really want, let me just get rid of this, dismissal. You really want to make sure that, I can't remember for the life of me what I was saying then. Oh yeah, you've got the title of the book on there. So let's go here. Add your new text, the BFG. Let's pop it up to the top here. You can see I've got this pink line here. That's aligning it, saying you're dead center, which is good. I want it to be center. I'm a bit fussy about these things, so let's get it right in the center. Okay, Now, it looks pretty rubbish. I don't like the text. I don't like the font even. So I can go and select a font which I think might be good, and it gives you a little preview of what that will look like. So Cairo Bold, that'd be pretty decent. But also I can go into recommended fonts and see what they've got going on. If I find one that I think, yeah, this one, I like the chunky ones. You see this little thing here says more like this. So let's get some more like that. Uh, this one looks quite good because it's got a bit of variety on it. There's sort of different angles and things like that, a bit jaunty, which is good. So I'm going to stick that in there. And then in terms of color, what am I going to do with this? Well, got different options I can do here. You can see you've got a fill color and an outline color. Well, if I go to fill color at the moment, it's black. If I click it, then I've got some recommended colors. It's giving me lots of dark things at the moment. Not interested in that. You can go down here to more colors, and then you've got all sorts of things you can play with. But actually, what I want to do is I want to match the color of his pink t-shirt to the text. And you have this little dropper tool. Now, depending on how my screen is shared right now, I'm not sure whether you'll see me hovering over. It works differently on different things. But anyway, click the dropper and you can see it brings up this kind of circle. Now, if I hover that circle over his t-shirt, I can pick the pink in his t-shirt, which is pretty cool. Next up, I think outline here. I think I'll click that. I'll give it a white outline, and that just makes it pop off the page a bit, which is good. I like that. So we're all good so far. What I'm going to do next is pretty cool. So I'll go over to media, and I'm thinking, well, the BFG obviously is the title of the book, the main character, but there also is another character, and it's Sophie. So let's go into search photos, and you might put something like young child, something like that. Okay, now this one looks great. That's Sophie. Let's pretend it's Sophie. So I'm going to put Sophie down at the bottom there. And you might be thinking, well, that looks rubbish. It does look rubbish because she's on a background. Now, this is a tip for all people who might use green screen in their classroom. You can remove background from photos and video in Adobe Express, and you don't need a green screen. Now, obviously, it helps if you're not wearing a blue uniform and standing in front of a blue background, of course. But look how good this is. You just click there. I don't know why it's a dog, but they chose a dog for the remove background icon. And there it is. It's absolutely perfect. And we're trying to make out that the sort of the BFG is looking down at Sophie there because they're mates. That looks good to me. Right. Next up, I'm going to go to text again. Add your text. Now, what it's done is because this one is, oh, it didn't actually. It gave me something different. That's fine. I thought it would give me the same fonts as before, but it didn't. Let's go for Roald Dahl. Okay, secondary font. That's absolutely fine. If you wanted to like go here and select the BFG, Hackman Black, and you can look in the font family, and it's only Hackman Black. Okay, so therefore I wouldn't use a separate a sort of subset of that font there because there aren't any others. So here I'll go Roald Dahl. There's different ways in which I can change the size of this text. I can just grab the corners, and often that's the quickest. But also you can use the plus and minus as well. So maybe I'll stick it round about there. And because the title of the book is more important, I don't think I'll put an outline on this because I want to make sure the BFG as a title is really, really big. Okay. Now, this is all looking good. I could do other things like select Roald Dahl, hold Shift on my keyboard, select the BFG, and now suddenly this is, I've got multiple things selected. I could put them in a group. I could group them, and then that will always move them both at the same time. And that, I mean, I can do that here. Why not? I'll just do that. And then also I'll add some text, and this time I'll put the wonderful tale of. Now, it's all gone on to 2 lines. So I'm not happy about that because I want it to go at the top. So I'll pop that in there. You can see that pink line again. It's telling me, yeah, that's aligned. That's where we want it to be. But what I want to do is I want to make sure that the wonderful tale of stretches out. So it's the same width as the BFG as a title. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to go to my letter spacing here, and I'll just change that. It's gone onto 2 lines because the text box itself wasn't wide enough. So let's widen up this text box. There we go. It's all on 1 line now. And I'll need to go in again and just bring that letter spacing ever so slightly down. And then also, sometimes you do have to just manually work on the box as well. There we go. That is just about perfect. Okay, if I want to move all of that down, I would select my first one, shift again. That's going to select the group. Now you could group all 3 of them together. Let's do that. And then once they're grouped together, I can just click it and just bring it down ever so slightly so it's not so tucked at the top of the page there. Okay, cool. Next up, what are we going to do? Let's have a look at something called elements. What's in elements? Well, you've got loads of design assets. These are really, really handy. You've got backgrounds as well. You've got shapes. You've got icons. There's, thousands and thousands and thousands of things. They get me out of trouble all the time. Now, if I search all, I can go sticker. Right. So you've got, they're very different the way they look, like, some of the icons that look like stickers, but I want this to look like a genuinely real sticker. So design assets is always a good place to go for something like that. So let's click it. I got my sticker on the page, complete with wrinkles, making it look like, it's been well thumbed. So let's put that round about there. Now, I know what you're thinking, because I'm thinking it as well. That color does not work. So because it's a design asset, you can't just go in and change the color. You have to put an effect on it. So let's go to effects, and you can see here, using one of these duotone effects. Actually, it's kind of a red herring, I suppose, in a way. If I click this one, makes it yellow. I'm going to use that color, but let me just click the custom bit here where the 2 sliders are. And what you'll see is it's actually got pink shadows and yellow highlights. So you might think, oh, he's just changed the color to yellow, but actually I haven't. If I flip that around, it's ever so slightly different. So just very, very subtle on the shadows. Okay, and then in here, I'll go to text again, and this time I'll put something like book. Let me do book, return prize, return book prize winner, something like that. Okay, now in terms of the font, I'll change it from pink to white. Then I'll bring the size of it down, pop it on top here. That looks good. You can see got the crosshairs now. There's different ways in which alignment works. If I've got this group here, it will tell me it's got a line going all the way from the top to the bottom. That's saying it's aligned to the page. But when I click on this book prize winner here and move it around, it's telling me it's aligned to the sticker, because it's recognized that actually you want to align this to the sticker, don't you? And they're absolutely right. Now I'm going to, no bookshop worker would ever be able to stick it on completely straight. So let's put it to the side there, and we're all done with that. Really, really simple. Okay. I'm going to show you what you might want to do once you've done a project like that. You can press download button here, and it will say, how do you want to download it? Choose whichever one you think is best. PNG for images is fine. And I'm going to download it, and it'll do that in the background. And you should be able to see my dialog box here, and it's given the name of the file as the same project name that I gave in Express. That's why it's important to name them. And then click save, and it's all done. And then the next one is click share. And then here you can invite people to collaborate with you in real time. So if that's one of your things that you need to tick off in your computing curriculum, you can get people to collaborate, and you can be able to see both cursors on the screen. And then also you can copy a link and send it to someone. Only invited people can access. Anyone with the link could access. So I could copy that and send it out to everyone in class and say, hey, who wants to, have a look and tinker around with mine? You can make a template. This is really, really handy for teachers. You might want to do like a blank sort of pro forma style one and then send it out to your students to fill in. That's absolutely fine. But this is the one if you want to share it with people so they can view it, a view only link. This is like a published piece of work. Obviously, you've got Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams here as well. But if I do view only link, you can also create it as a template here as well, allow others to use this, and then create a link. So you've got two different ways in which you can make it as a template. And fingers crossed it's going to be pretty quick because Teams sometimes does take up all the bandwidth. What else would I tell you just while we've got some time here? Oh yeah, on the left-hand side here, you can see you've got layers. Now this is useful. I'll show you that once I've got my copy link. All right, so let me just copy that link, open it up in another tab. And what you'll see here is that you've got a published link. Now this is not indexed on Google. It's not searchable on Google. You don't need to worry about any sort of safeguarding issues with this. This is only viewable if you've actually got the link, okay? Let me go back here and show you layers. So say, for example, I did this sticker and I put it over Sophie's face. Well, that's no good, is it? I mean, this isn't a particularly practical example, but I just want to show you how layers works. At the moment, Sophie is behind the sticker and the writing. And you can see that because there's layers here. The book prize winner and the sticker are at the top. Sophie is underneath. Now, if I just pop Sophie at the top there, she can be behind the writing or she could be on top of the writing. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't want this to be either of those, actually. So let's just grab that one, press select, grab them both. I could group them, actually, and take it over there. And once they're grouped, you can also play around with how it sits there even more as well. Let me just show you another thing as well. If I move this sticker over there, now, you might think, okay, yeah, that looks better, fine. But my link here is still showing the sticker in the old position, even if I refresh it. And the reason for that is because I have not yet, if I go to share, if I go to view only link, it's a live link. Now, if I click that, it says republish your link to reflect changes. Okay, so I can update my link. Now, if I update my link, the link stays the same. That's really important. The link stays the same. Okay, all it's doing is it's pushing whatever is in your kind of developer or designer area, and it's saying I want to push that change out. And this is really useful actually for schools that use Express for things like newsletters, for like class updates and stuff like that, because it means that you don't constantly have to create new pages. You can just take the page, maybe add in more stuff, delete some stuff, and when you're ready, publish or republish your link and it will update itself. So if I go here now and reload this page, then the sticker will be in a new place. Okay, so that's kind of a whistle stop of how graphics work. Let me just check back into the chat to make sure. Yes, any tips for Maths Week Scotland? Yeah, well, quite frankly, loads of tips. We've got a live lesson happening during Maths Week Scotland. Let me just put the link in the chat, bit.ly/Adobe Leaders. If you want me to do all the work for you, there we go. There's the link in the chat. It won't hyperlink, I don't think, but I'll just show you that before we move on. So if I go to bit.ly/Adobe Leaders, what you'll see is these are all our live lessons. And Maths Week Scotland is on Tuesday the 24th. Tuesday the 24th. Even if you can't make that exact time, if you sign up for the session, you'll get the recording, and that will give you access to the recorded session, and you'll be able to choose from 2 challenges. We always do 2 challenges in a live lesson. And a really good tip would be going into Express and finding 3 shapes that you've never heard of before and putting the definition next to them. That's a typical one that I've done for maths before. Right, let me just check back in, see if there's anything else. Cool. Right, everyone, happy for me to move on, or do you want me to give you a few minutes because you're still tinkering around? Let me know in the chat. Let me know in the chat if you're happy for me to move on, or you need a few minutes because you're still tinkering around. All good, Mr. Smith. Great so far. Happy to move on. Happy to move on. Cool. All right. We got 4 people. That's enough to make me move on. Okay, cool. All of these things, by the way, um, we have so many videos, so many videos. Let me YouTube. Let me go in here. Let me just go to the channel. How do I get to the channel? That's oops.
We were frozen in time and space.
That's one of the live lessons. That's one of the starts to it. Let me go in here. Loads of tutorials on here. Loads of lesson packs as well. You'll have seen the lesson packs just here. So all sorts of stuff in there. I will not there or this one. These are the lesson packs. So there's loads of things in there. But trawl through the YouTube channel. There's just millions of things. And we did do a maths week last year. So if you search for maths week in on that YouTube channel, you'll see maybe 2, maybe 4 different examples of things we did for maths. Okay, right. That is how you use how you use Express to create graphics. If I show you some other stuff very, very quickly, there's an All About Me poster. That was a dead easy graphic as well. Created all the boxes ourselves. You basically only have to create one and then you can duplicate it. So for example, if I select that box, I can select this box, duplicate it, bring it down, and then, stretch it out so it's slightly different. It's all aligning. That's nice. And you make it as big or as small as you need it. So it's dead easy to make stuff and duplicate. Honestly, that gets you out of all sorts of trouble. Let's go back and have a look at other stuff I've used it for. Pathetic fallacy examples. A job advert from a book people were studying. House for sale advert from a book. AI dragons. Viking settlements. Labeling things. Newspapers, you can see there, dead easy to do. The list just goes on and on. Diary entries, you can see that one there. So yeah, it is really, really simple. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, make sure you're in the home page again. And let's go for web page next. Okay, so let me just grab this document for you here. And I'll put this in the chat. There we go. Okay. So if you want to follow along with this one, this is a good one to follow along with, actually, because it is pretty simple. Okay. Web page is probably the most underrated, and it's so heavily used in education. This is just a Swiss Army knife for projects you can do. It's a dead easy digital, digital way to kind of enhance any sort of piece of written work. So, for example, let's go back to that page. Let's say, for example, that you have got your pupils to, do a piece of writing. Here, this is the 200-word challenge. So there's 4 questions about electricity. And I challenged them to write 200 words, roughly about 50 words per answer, in order to get them understanding how to, use different forms of language, like summarizing things, using the rule of 3s, using questions, doing like opposing views, stuff like that. So a typical thing you might do in literacy or English or whatever, however you want to call it. So this one has got a title here, How Can We Save Electricity? It was written by a fantastic teacher called Chris Yule, so let's give him some credit for it. I'm going to go back here, and like we've talked about before, you can create a web page by using the kind of hero graphic down here. I think that's what they call them, or hero tiles. But you can press the plus, and you can see down here it's web page. Okay, now you can get started with a web page in all honesty, I think they're great, but I think they're probably greater once you've got to grips with exactly what you can and can't do in a web page. So for now, we're not gonna use any templates. I'm just gonna press the X there, and it comes onto this page here. So as always, I'm gonna put a title: Electricity Renfrewshire. There. Oh, I don't think I even spelled that right. Renfrewshire. There we go. And that again, just making sure that you understand that we're doing that because it just makes it so much easier to find things later on. Right, you can click in here and add a title. I'm just pasted mine in. Now, I want by Chris Yules to be a subtitle. So I can either cut and paste it, or I could just well, I said I was going to press return it and it didn't actually work. It used to work. Right, so I'm just going to cut it, add it in as a subtitle. It's obviously slightly smaller. Now, if you click anywhere in here, you can decide whether you want this to be a big photo background, whether you want it to be a short cover. I don't tend to use short covers because I don't tend to like them. Split layouts, that's sometimes handy. But actually, I'm going to click in the background, or sorry, click on the white section again, and I'm going to go back to cover. I want this to be a big, impactful kind of web presentation, web story, web page, however you want to talk about it. So here I'll just click photo. So on the left-hand side, again, this is, fully filtered for educational use. And we're looking for something which is going to grab my reader's attention. So, I mean, there's loads in here that look good, actually. What's that one? Yeah, why not? You'll see that it's slightly blurry at the moment, but it will pop through. There we go, just popped, and that's just rendering. It puts it in there so you know it's coming, and then it pops through with a more highly rendered image. It says down the bottom, scroll to start writing your story. So let's do that. And then this pops up. So this is everything. This is everything. And I really like the simplicity of it because it's really hard to do it badly. And it just means that you can get students like sort of knocking out work really, really quickly. So I'm going to start off with a split layout. And you can see here you've got image on the left, text on the right, or you can use the arrows in the middle to flip it up like that. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to get our first question and answer. Copy all of that. Go back over here. On the right-hand side is where's my text going to go. So I'll put, you can choose any one of these. I'll click text for now, paste it in, and you can see it pastes it into two different sections. Now, what I want to do is I want to have consistency of visual formatting. That's really important. It's one of the things that I really like Page for because it's very simple to talk to pupils about. Well, all your questions should look the same in terms of their formatting because that will give your reader a clue about how, a clue as to how this page is should be read. So let's go to the question. Now you have all of these different options here. You can align things in different ways. You can bullet things, you can bold things, but header 1, header 2, and quote function. So header 1 is big, header 2 is slightly smaller, but I like this quote function one. I like the way it does this kind of black line there. I think it's really cool. So we'll do that. But also like different things of formatting. This sentence here is kind of my, if I had to boil this one sentence answer to this question, it's this one. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put my cursor before simply, press return, put my cursor before the line after it, and I've got this kind of bit in the middle. Now what I can do with this is change it on to header 2. So just like you would in a newspaper, when the editor wants you to focus in on a piece of writing, that's really easy to do. These are the kind of things that I'll be talking to pupils in my class about. Now on the left hand side, if I click add your image, now you can upload from device. I actually was doing stuff with images earlier. None of these are particularly relevant, but I will just show you because show you how to upload things. So you can upload your own images if you want to, but also you can click again. You can change the focal point, which would be like what section of the image do you want to do. But also I can press replace. And I've still got electricity in here, so why not do the bulb? That one looks pretty cool. Okay. Now I'm going to scroll. That image will pop through once it's had time to render. There it is. I'm going to scroll down. The same options come up again. I'm going to press split layout again. You can see now the image is on the right-hand side. You can have it on the left. I don't think it looks as good, and I think the automatic function knows that it doesn't look as good, so it puts it on the other side. There will always be ways, reasons why you'll break the rules. So please don't go away and think, oh, well, he told us to do it like this, because you do whatever you like. But it does look better on the reader's eye. It sort of makes it more engaging, more sort of readable, I suppose, or they'll want to read it more. Now, questions. I'm going to make sure that they're all formatted the same. Now here, I've used the rule of three. I've got 3 questions, and I've got an order right at the start of my writing. Stop and take a moment to look round your house. And then I could go enter, enter, enter. Now, the reason why we do this is because I'm trying to say to people, if you want people to take each question and think about it individually, space them out. That will mean that they kind of look at them in their, one by one, rather than just reading through them, just like really, really quick, because they're all sort of bunched together. On the right-hand side, add your image. And here I'm going to change it from electricity, but one of the things I'm talking about is plugs. So let's put plug in there, because I actually know there are some good images here. You can just cycle through them all, like until you find the one that's right for you. I think I'll choose this one because, it's bizarre, and that's a good thing for, sort of capturing the attention of our reader. I can click it again and change the focal point like we talked about before. If you want to make sure that you've got more of the left side of the image, move that over there, this kind of focus button here, you can see it. It's particularly handy when you've got stuff at the top that you want to read or the bottom you want to read, but let's do it right over to the left. Well, actually, it's right over to the right-hand side, because you can see in our demo here, like where it's giving you a kind of preview, and that will take it right over to the other side of the page. So actually, I was right first time. Stick it right over to the left. There we go. So you can play around with things like that. Now let's carry on and scroll down. Now this time, instead of a split layout, I'm going to change it up, and I'm going to go for a glide show. Now it says add a few background photos to your glide show. So I'm going to, in my glide show, I want a photo for section or question and answer 3, and I want a photo for question and answer 4. So in question and answer 3, we're talking about renewable energy. Cool. So let me copy that, go back to my page, paste that in there. Renewable energy. Now, renewable energy, we're trying to convince people that it's clean and it's beautiful and we should use it and all the rest of it. So let's click in there. That's a very sort of, appealing image. And then, this is not a political statement or anything like that. This is just something that another teacher wrote, but we're also talking about fossil fuels, and we're talking about there being not as good for the environment, etc., etc. So let's go back here and then search for fossil fuels. And so we're looking for something that is, so this is visual literacy again. We're looking for something which is going to contrast the beautiful sort of renewable energy image. So we want to go for something pretty dirty. This first one is good. And it's, again, how you can use images to enhance your writing. So now that I've got my 2 images, I can change the order of these if I want to, but I actually don't, because this is section 3, this is section 4. So I'm going to save that. And what you'll see, you've got these text boxes, and you can move them to the right. You can move them to the center. In the center, they are slightly larger. I'm going to keep mine on the left-hand side so we can see that little detail of the boat. I think that's good. And then it's the same practice as what we did before. So I'm going to copy that question and answer 3, text, pop it in there, format the question in the same way so it's all consistent. I won't bother doing any formatting in here. I don't think there's anything I need to do. And then I'll select my section 4 and then scroll down. And now you can see my text box is actually on top of that chimney stack there. So what I want to do is I want to drag this over to the right-hand side. Click, text, paste it in, change the formatting of the question. Now here, this is my big close. This is my big close. So what do I want to do here? I might want to start playing around with formatting. The time for ifs and maybes has passed. Unplug those devices, turn off those lights, act now, make a difference. So let's change these. I mean, is that too much? Yeah, I think it is actually. So I'll do them both as, well, I mean, I could do them all three of them as header two, actually. This is, it's the power of threes. Again, we've got three sections here, but also the last section, we've got three short sentences as well. Now that that's done, let's go and have a look at our page. So I'm going to scroll up to the top. You can preview it here and have a look to see what your page is like. That's one way of checking your work. So I like that. And you've got your glide show there. It looks beautiful. See the way it glides from one section to the other. It's a really nice way of doing it. And actually think the formatting works on that full section. It's good. But also you can present it. And that opens it up, and you can just use your left and right arrows to present work. It's really nice. It's not PowerPoint. Don't let anyone ever tell you it's PowerPoint. It's not. It's a different style of presentation. Very good for speaking and listening if you want people to read their work out, stuff like that. And you can see it just effortlessly goes from one page to another. Right, now that that's done, I could go and share it like we were doing before, but actually I want to show you how to do things like put videos in. So we've got this one from the lovely people at B&Q. It's a how to save energy in your home video. So let me go to my section here. This is all about, like, how many appliances you have right now. So this is B&Q giving us their advice on how to save, and you can just paste in. You can paste in an Express video link. That's really, really handy, because if you make something in Express video, you can publish it in your page as well. YouTube or Vimeo. Just use YouTube just for kind of ease now. That's one thing. Then we've got a what is electricity button here. Sorry, not button. That's what I'm going to do. It's a link. And the first section is what is electricity. So at the bottom of this section, I can go and put in a button. Find out more, something like that. Put in my URL. I'm going to center that button because I think that's going to make it look nicer. And then last but not least, again, this is not a political statement. Please don't think it is. But if you had a young person in your class who was very passionate about environmental things and they were into something like Extinction Rebellion, this might get involved or something, or I don't know, be the change, something like that. That's quite cool. URL in there, center that, and then we've got the button in there. And then when we present our work again, you'll see that we've got our button down there. If I clicked it, it would open up in a new window. We've got our video here. If I click that, you don't even need to leave, and you can play it in there, which is cool. There we go. And then we'll go to section 3, lovely glide show. I'm just going to glide through to this section here. Again, you've got a link down the bottom here. Okay, now that you've finished your page, you can go to share and you can publish it to the web. Google Classrooms, Microsoft Teams, publish it to the web. You've got a title in there. It's taken the title from my project name. You can put some credits in if you like. Allow others to remixes there as well. You can put password protection on it as well. If you want to put the student name on it, do so. It's automatically turned off so that you don't need to worry about things like that. But you can also create a link, and just like we did before, it looks slightly different in page, but it essentially does exactly the same thing. And also, don't forget that if you ever make any changes to your page, so if I copy this and pop this in here, don't forget, yeah, so if you do make any changes to this page, they won't be reflected until you publish again. The link will be the same. So there we go. There is your web page. Loads of buttons, videos, formatting consistent in my text. There we go. Nicely done. Okay. So that I'm going to press the A in the top left to go back to the home page. Let me just check back in with you all. Any thoughts or questions before we move on to the final phase, which is going to be video? Or even just things like, hey, slow down. 10 minutes to go. Blimey. Pam's keeping me honest. Yeah, any questions at all? Everyone happy? Are you feeling like a bit sort of mind blown? Yeah, all good. Everyone all good? Good, great, all happy. Okay, cool. Right. So let me go back to back on the home page again. There are all sorts of things that we haven't got time to do here. Like animate your voice is brilliant. I've got it. I used it recently with mouth only, so you can put it on top of things. But you know, you've got all sorts of madness in here. That's worth looking at. Again, if you come to a live lesson or have a look on the YouTube channel, you'll find all sorts of stuff around that. But let's create a video. So you can use this orange thing here, create a video, and this is going to be really, really quick. Video is probably the one that has the most complexity in it, but you can keep it really simple, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So here, let's put Kenning poem, Renfrewshire. Doesn't want to put the S's in for me. Okay, Kenning poem. So what is a Kenning poem? Kenning poem is, well, I did have it. I always struggle to kind of actually verbalize what it is. A kenning poem is a special type of poem that describes an object or creature without ever using its name, made up of 4 descriptions. Each description has only 2 words. Okie dokie. So you do have templates in here. To be honest, before you've got to grips with how video works, templates are absolutely not useful, so just get rid of those. You can see you've got a timeline at the bottom here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to media, and I've got one scene, and by default it's 5 seconds. I'm going to keep all of my scenes 5 seconds just to make it easier. Here I'm going to search for typewriter. Oh, nice. I can view all in photos. And which one am I going to go for? Maybe this one here. Okay, cool. So I can, on the left-hand side here, there's different ways. You know, you could stretch this out so that it covered your page if you wanted to. That's one way of doing it. But you can also do set as page background, but then you will have to reframe where yours sits. Okay, but that's cool. And then also click it, and you can do things like flip it. You could flip it upside down. Not sure why you'd want to, but maybe you would. So you can do all sorts of things with photos. Dead easy. Right. Let's go to text here. Add your text. Dom's Kenning poem. Okay. Let's bring this down a bit. Let's put it on an angle, and let's kind of pretend that it's coming out of my typewriter. Okay, there we go. Dom's Kenning poem. I don't particularly like the font here. If I just highlight in here and go handwriting, there are a few. There's an Adobe handwriting one here. Frank, no. Tiffany, no. Ernie, yeah, that'll do. That's my dad's name. Great. Okay, so we've got Dom's Kenning poem. So mine's going to be about the jungle. Okay, so let's go to add a scene, and let's go for my text in here. I mean, I've actually got it written out here. Animal hider. So this is this thing of like, it's only 2 words, and quite often they're hyphened as well. So I go for animal hider. So I go to media, and I could go to tiger. Oh, where are we? Come on. Let me just refresh the page. I think the just needs to give me the ability to type in the box. Tiger. There we go. Tiger. Okay. Now this is all good, but I want to add it into a scene here. Maybe this one. Yeah, this one will do. But if I wanted to be more specific, because this is, you know, it's a tiger, good, but it doesn't look like this tiger's hiding very much. So I'm going to just delete that, and I'm going to go to generate image. I'll go for a widescreen because that's the same as the video format here. This is really cool. I can just put tiger hiding. Oh, come on. Where are you? Tiger. Oh, it's doing a funny thing, my keyboard. Let me just refresh again. Right, generate image, widescreen, tiger hiding under a log. Content type, I'll go to art. That's as far as I'll go. Generate image. Oh, it's gone onto my first scene, which is a pain in the bum, but it does mean that I can show you how to copy and paste things across. Let me make this big. Oh, nice. That's perfect. Right. What I'm going to do is it's selected. I'm going to go to the 3 dots. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to go back to the scene where I actually wanted it in the first place. Get rid of that. And then just go to the gray side, tap with my two fingers, paste it in, allow it. There we go. Great. That got me out of a hole. Right. So I'm going to pop that in there. You can always just set as page background just like I did before. That one, I can delete that now. So I've got Dom's Kenning poem. First one is animal hider. Go to text, add your text, animal, animal hider. Okay, looks absolutely awful. Let's make it white. Let's bring it somewhere where it can actually be seen. That'll do. I could change the font, but just in the interest of time, I'll leave the font for now. That looks good. Then what I'm going to do is add another scene. This one is going to be Heat Trapper. Right, so what is a typical heat trapper? Let me go to media. Let me go to photos. Let's go for greenhouse. So this is a way to get your pupils thinking about different ways in which they can think about things they need to put on the screen. Set as page background, that will do. Text, add your text. Heat trapper. Fill, go to white again. Just make sure that's going to look okay. If I pop that, yeah, that looks okay. That's fine. Add another scene. This time it's going to be rain catcher. I'll do some funky things with this. I just want to populate it for now. So rain catcher, let's go to media, search photos, rain, hand. What have we got here? Rain catcher. Nice, this one will do. Set as page background, dead quick. Text again, add your text. Rain catcher, let's make it white again, because I think all of these will stand out a bit better with white. Let's put it over the other side now. That's good. This image, I might reframe it so that the hand is more in the middle. Actually, that's not going to work because the image isn't big enough. So let me stretch it out, stretch it out, stretch it out. There we go. Rain catcher. This is the last one before the big reveal. Let me just get rid of that so I don't. Shade giver. So what else gives you shade? Well, if I go to media and photos, umbrellas, something like that. Oh, that one's great. Set as page background, text, add your text, pop it in there, change the color to white, shade giver, that one. Maybe I'll put that right at the, where am I going to put it? Doesn't matter. Over here. And then the last one, this is where the big reveal, you tell people what it is. It's going to be, let's go and let's do a video. So let's go to videos. And here we can go for jungle. And if you hover over them, it gives you a little sort of sense of what they look like. That one's pretty cool. That one's good. Yeah, I mean, anyone. That'll do. Okay. Now, this one, you can see now this clip is 29.5 seconds. Don't need it to be that long. So I'm just going to trim just by clicking the end handle here and bring it into, make it slightly longer because it is the big reveal. There we go. And then I can put some text on, add your text to the jungle, fill, white, pop that right in the middle. Is he going to let me do it right in the middle? There, you see where the crosshairs are. Now, the white of the waterfall is creating an issue, so let's put a little black outline on it. Okay, so we've got a video here, which is great. But Pam, I think I've got about 4 minutes here, so let me show you some other cool things. Is that right? Yeah, good stuff. Thank you, keep me honest. Right, let's select the text here. Go down to animation, and there is actually one called typewriter. Dom's Kenning poem. Cool. Right, and then we can do that we can animate all of these. Animation, I'll have this one dropping in. If you click it again, you can select the duration, maybe about 3 seconds. So you can just put 3 in there. That'll do. Do that for this one. Heat trapper. How am I going to animate this one? Maybe drift in from the right. That'll do. Click it again. Duration 2.5. That'll do. Rain catcher. Maybe this one can bounce. So let's go to animation or bungee. Yeah, that'll do. Click it. Duration 3 seconds roughly. How many bounces? Let's go wild. Let's do 4. There we go. Shade giver, let's pop that up from the bottom. Animation, rise up from the bottom. That'll do. Timing looked good. And then for the jungle, I think I will click that animation and we'll do something like grow. Yeah, that'll do. And then duration of that maybe 3 seconds as well. Now, this is all good. Now, between my scenes, if I just play this now, nice little animation, 5 seconds is enough. And you see just very quickly, just, switches to the next scene. If I press the plus in between, add transition. The best one here, I think all the others are naff actually. Dissolve is the only one I actually ever use really. Dip to white and dip to black actually. They're sometimes quite good. Dissolve, duration about a second. Let's see how that works. So 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, that's nice. So now that I've done that, I should. Ooh, let me go back and not duplicate. Delete scene. Pam's going to kill me here. Right. If I go back to my transition here, it says here apply to all scenes. Right. One click. Every single one of them has got that. Now I have got an audio section down the bottom here. So I can add some audio if I wanted to. I could just put some, lo-fi is a good one I always use. You can preview them here if you want to. They're pretty cool. So you can stick them in. But actually, I don't want to do that. What I want to do is put jungle in. And what it will do is, nice, like a soundtrack. Now, this is 36 seconds long. I've got 5 scenes of 5, 20, that's 25, 32. This will be great. That's perfect. I'm going to stick that in there so it's a bit of a clue. That's really nice. You see? This is all very good. You've got volumes that you can play with as well if you want to. So yeah, that's basically how it all works. You can also record a voiceover. So here I could put this my playhead at the start. You can also zoom in on the timeline here as well if you want a bit more control. Start recording. Dom's Kenning poem. There we go. So if I put this back to the start again, Dom's Kenning poem. And then you can put a voiceover on each sector of these. Animal hider. So it's a dead easy way to do that. And it means you can have a soundtrack and you can also have a voiceover as well. The only thing to watch out for is make sure your voiceover is at 100% and make sure whatever, either soundtrack or sound effect you've got is probably down at something like, well, actually for this one, you could be a bit higher. But if it's music, I normally have it about 15%. But for this one, I think that would be fine. Let's just check it. Dom's Kenning poem. Nice. Right, so obviously you can see how you can build that up and up and up and do all sorts of different stuff with it, but I showed you animation, showed you voiceover, showed you how to put some kind of audio track on it. And again, you can download it here. I'm not going to download it while I'm on Microsoft Teams because that's surefire way to make this whole thing stop. But you can press share and you've got invite people to collaborate in real time, make it as a template, send to Google Classroom, Microsoft Teams, or a view only link. Now, because it's a video, it will take a bit of time. So what I'll do in the meantime is I'll pass it back to Pam and say, is that okay?